Hey guys, Luke here, and we're back, and I think this is episode 7, I believe. If not, I'm sorry for that. But it's going to be something a little bit different, or pretty different actually. So I'm not going to be playing as a Dream Team, we're going to be taking on the Dream Team. And there's a special reason for that, and it's because I'm playing with my favourite Bulldog 17 of all time. And obviously, I've only started watching the Bulldogs since like 2001-ish, 2000. Whenever Brett Sherwin left the Storm is when I switched over, because no way in hell I was going to support Manly, which is who we went and played for. Yeah, so I should point out, there's going to be a few people you're going to be thinking, huh, don't you hate them? But no, I'm going to see the lineup in a second. Yeah, so this is judged on how much I liked them at the time that the Bulldogs, not based on how much I like them right now. Yeah, there's no exception to the rule, otherwise like Thurston would be in there. So yeah, so you look at the lineup, we will start off with Luke Patten. Now, the very last year, got a bit frustrated of him, but up until that point, really good player. He was probably my favourite player. Just overall, just really good. El Masri was my all-time favourite player for the Bulldogs, but I said when El Masri left, I remember I was at the Easter show, I was playing in, there was like some like FIFA tournament thing, and I was playing in that, and there's a guy next, I was talking to the guy next to me, and he said, like, who's your favourite Bulldogs player? And I said, well, it used to be El Masri, but right now it's Luke Patten, and that was in 2010, I believe, or 2011, 2010. So yeah, Luke Patten, really liked him as a player. The general, I don't know if I like him as a video ref, but oh, I thought Willie Tonga was going to get that. And James Graham is in the side, I'll let you know that. He's just on the ball. Yeah, so Patten, not the most flashy fullback, but a really consistent one. Pretty safe under the high ball, and did have the ability to score a try or two. Yeah. So we move on to the wing spot, and like I said, my all-time favourite, Hazem El Masri. I think this will be the same thing for a lot of Bulldogs fans, or depending on what era you sort of grew up with him. But with my one, he was the goal kicker when I started watching him. Well, from my earliest memories of him goal kicking. Come on, Sherwin. Pops up for him. Yeah, so El Masri, I still never forget. I didn't actually see the kick from the Knights. Heard it on the radio because it was delayed. Show online game, and I didn't actually realise how hard of a kick it was until like I've seen it, and yeah, it's it's one of my favourite things to go and watch on YouTube. Just it's such a good goal kick, so clutch, and I was so happy. I used to always get mad when he never got picked for New South Wales, and I'm so happy that he actually got a New South Wales jersey. Whether you want to argue whether he deserved it or not, he got it, and he didn't let anyone down. I think he scored a try and kicked all the goals, so did his job. I know it was a dead rower, I remember that, but you know, say what you want, he's played for New South Wales, and I think he's played for Australia too. I'm pretty certain he's played for Australia. And the good thing is, he didn't turn his back on his home country. He'd fly over, I think he'd fly over to Lebanon and all that sort of stuff. Really like when players do that. Although I did say that he played for Australia, but he played a lot for Lebanon too, so that was really cool. Yeah, so and also I'll go into it. I really want to talk about Hazem for a long time, but I won't. But my final thing is like off the field is especially where I really like Hazem. I know he's had a divorce with his wife, whatever, but you know what? That's irrelevant. Say what you will about him, but he's one of the best like representatives of the game, and you know they talk about Minicello and all that being good guys with the NRL and stuff, but Hazem El Masri is one of the best ever in terms of a good image. Never stuffed up anything. Did Ramadan and all that. I don't remember them ever talking up Hazem as much as they did with Sonny. Did it, and Hazem did it for long amounts of times. Sorry, he did it many times. I'm trying to say Sonny Bill's done it for like 2 seasons. Hazem did it for many seasons, 10 plus years. So yeah, just all-time favourite, Hazem El Masri. Move on to the centres. Got Josh Morris and Willie Tonga. So fun fact is, Josh Morris' dad was a teacher at my high school in Year 7, one of the first classes. Boom, had his dad. I remember my dad telling me that he was he heard that he was working at the school, and then I didn't really know what he looked like, but when they said, oh, Morris, I was like, oh my god, it's Slippy Morris. And it just so happened that Josh Morris had moved to the Bulldogs that year, and also, I mean, obviously it wouldn't happen if Josh Morris went out and played shit, wouldn't have liked him, but it did help that his dad was a teacher and I could get little like inside info and stuff like that. But yeah, I really like Josh Morris. You just got to look at the state of origin. Come on. Oh no. Doesn't know the legs, has him. When he was right next to me, I should have tackled him.
That was a very good try.
But yeah, Josh Morris, probably he's my favourite player now for sure. Yeah, he's just so consistent. He's so good. Even with a bung knee, he's better than anything that the Bulldogs have ever had in the centres, I suppose. Yeah, just real good player, and I think New South Wales fans have grown to like him as well. Him and his brother, the twins, really love Brett to join, but probably won't happen. But yeah, like when he gets injured in the state of origin, it's like a really bad knee injury, and you know how bad it is now by seeing him sprint on it now. And then he gets up and he runs and he chases down Inglis with like what they thought was a season-ending injury. Like, credit to him. Oh, that was awesome. Then going to the other centre, which at the time was my favourite centre, and that was not Matt Utai, Willie Tonga. Really was a big fan of Willie Tonga. Awesome step, just seemed like an awesome person, and I really like him like even more now with the whole Reynolds tour thing. But that's not coming into consideration when I'm doing this side.
Show a strength to beat the tackle. Gets defending. Well, who was that for?
Oh, I was hoping we could have scored there. Should have kept going with Sonny Bill there. So yeah, Willie Tonga, he played for Australia, he's played for I don't like him playing for Queensland, but it shows that he's got class. He's a rep quality player, that's what I'm trying to point out.
That's the half-time hooter. Kick along the ground, it's the grubber. No respect for ball security.
Oh dear, very poor play from the home team.
Murphy picks up the loose ball. The ball's been turned over.
Unfortunately, we didn't score. Sorry for the silence there. I was just really concentrating on trying to score there, and fortunately we didn't. So yeah, we get to Matt Utai, who's pocket rocket. Just love Matt Utai, especially the Utai slam. I forget, it wasn't the grand final. They did score in the grand final. Also Hazem. Yeah, you find a lot of these players were in the grand final. Is obviously the pinnacle of my time as a Bulldog supporter. Sorry, 2004 grand final. Yeah, the Utai slam against the Roosters, who can forget that? I think even some non-Bulldogs fans will know what I'm talking about. Oh, I should have been able to run straight over the top of him. This is Matt Utai we're talking about. Good stuff there by Tonga. Yeah, so I won't spend too much time on Utai, but you know how good he is. Little pocket rocket, loved him. And there hasn't been a winger that I like more than him. Come on, Hazem, get to it. He does score. Great try there by Hazem. And Josh Morris on the right hand side. And then we get to the halves. Ben Roberts, this might be a funny one to use, but when he was at the Bulldogs, I thought he was the best thing ever. And I still can't get over it. I still think he's a really good player. I'll never forget him tearing up Darren Lockyer that day against the Broncos, 2009. I don't know the date, but I wish I did. So I could just say it. And we missed the conversion with El Masri. I'm sorry, Hassan. I didn't do justice. But yeah, I won't spend too much time on Ben Romps because people probably won't even acknowledge that he's a decent player. They like to make fun of him, but whatever. And then we go to Brent Sherwin, really underrated player. I thought he should have played Origin. Same as Patten. Really gutted they never got to play Origin, but whatever. I suppose at that time New South Wales were the dominant side, and you know, Sherwin was up against Andrew Johns. But in the years that the Bulldogs were really good sides, like
Eastwood, Pritchard.
Oh, come on, Pritchard.
Shows us his speed.
Oh, good stuff. What a try. What a try.
What about that?
Thumbs up for that try. Leave in the comments what you thought of that try. Yeah, Brent Sherwin, he had sick kicking game. Took it to the line. He's just really good. I really like Brent Sherwin. Towards the end of his career, wasn't that great at the Bulldogs, but at his peak, I really liked him. And I didn't really experience, I'm not going to put Brett Kamali in there. I can't stand Kamali now. And no matter how much I liked him at the time, which I don't think I really liked him too much at the time. Just, he was playing alright, and you know, that's all there ever was. But Sherwin, I really liked him. So yeah, we'll move on to the props. We've got Steve Price and James Graham. Obviously, for obvious reason, James Graham's the best forward, I think, in the world. People probably won't acknowledge that, but the stuff he does, he's revolutionised the way a prop plays the game. Just such a good player, so underrated. Gets through so much work. Well, he's not underrated in the know. People people with good knowledge will say James Graham's a good player, but the casual people probably won't say he's that good. And Steve Price obviously just will be in most Bulldogs fans' favourite players, unless you were born after he was playing with the Bulldogs. just, you know, he was the captain for a long time. Well, actually, he wasn't really for a long time, but he was one of the like senior players for a long time. He was at the Bulldogs for like 9 years, I think, 10 years possibly. I think he was 94. I don't know. I know he left in 2004, like the grand final. He didn't play in the grand final, which sucked. But you know what? He got us to the grand final, and that's good enough for me. So then we go to the hooker. It's Josh Reynolds. He's not a hooker, but I didn't like. In my time, the only hookers there's been has been really Michael Lannis. I mean, Michael Lannis could have been in there for sure, but I just like more other players better at the time. I've never really been a huge fan of Ennis. He's always been someone I liked, but he's never really a favourite or anything. And in particular, I get really frustrated with him too. So, but Josh Reynolds just screams like Bulldogs. He's so good, so much passion for the club, and he's not the best technical player, but just really good player. I like him, and I'm glad that he played for New South Wales, even though he's been off the rails the last few weeks. He can get over that. Oh, we're tearing them apart here. Should have got another offload there from Ben Roberts. So come on, beast.
Tonga keeps going.
And we score. Let's make some subs while at it, so I may as well put some dudes on. So we got Willie Mason here. You'll be able to see the team for sure. So we go to the second rowers and the lock. We got Pritchard, Sonny, Bill, and Eastwood. Now Pritchard, obviously an easy one for me. Really like him now. Sonny Bill is a debatable one. The way he left the club, I guess you can say he was still a Bulldog, but you know what? In my heart, I say that like there's still a soft spot for Sonny Bill, as much as it pains me to say. He was a great player for the Bulldogs, and I think I'm still bitter that he's not at the Bulldogs now. But you know what? Nothing we can do about it. And he's tearing up at the Roosters and tears it up everywhere he goes. But he was definitely a fan favourite for all the Bulldogs. Probably favourite player for 90% of players. Sorry, for 90% of fans when he was playing for the Bulldogs. Although I did say Hazem has a big following too. And then Greg Eastwood, it was a tough one, but I've always liked Eastwood ever since 2009. I was like begging for him to come back to the Bulldogs for the 2011 season. I was really hoping we could retain him for 2010. It couldn't happen. Then he returned, and I was so happy. And although initially he didn't set the world on fire in 2011, he's come good, and he's such a big game player. And the beast, Greg Eastwood, is so good. And I can tell there's going to be a lot of people cringing when I just said that. And there's a penalty. Yeah, so we get to the bench. We go Willie Mason, Mark O'Mealy, Jamal Idris, and Ben Barba. Now, we'll start off with Ben Barba just because it's a controversial one. Now, I think it's well aware that I don't like Ben Barba now, but in 2012, he was like I couldn't give a shit about the rest of the team. Well, sorry, that's not right, but like there was no debate on who my favourite player was. It was definitely Ben Barba. And I think that was for a lot of fans. He destroyed, and I think he has the playing style where he's either going to be favourite player or your most hated player. And for me, he's most favourite. Just the length of field tries, everything about him. But of opposition fans, probably hated him doing that. Actually, no, it's probably the opposite. Would have loved him doing that, just not against your team. Yeah. So we got the other players. We got Willie Mason, Mark O'Mealy, and Jamal Idris. Now Jamal Idris might be a funny one to play. Come on, Barba.
He's keen to go all the way on this run.
God damn it. We can see England scored twice like that. Yeah, so Idris, he's one when he was at the Bulldogs, I really liked him. Same with a few other players. When he used to get a little bit frustrated with him, but I was so I just have to put back to my emotions when he signed with Titans. I was really pissed off. We didn't know that Tim Laffer was going to be so good as what he is. So at the time, it was Idris, and he deserved to be in the side from my point of view. It could have had Vangana, stuff like that. I really like Vangana, but he wasn't really at the Bulldogs long enough for me to decide. I think with me properly watching every week, he's only really there for like one season. But yeah, he's a really good player. Chris Inu is another good shout. Really like Inu, but last season or so, kind of lost it for me. Yeah, there is a few other players. I'll go into Willie Mason. Obviously, as a Bulldogs player, really, really loved him. He's one of those players. He's like Josh Reynolds and Michael Ennis. If you're not a Bulldogs supporter, well, right now I see he's started to get a little bit of a following. But if you weren't supporting the team he was in, you probably wouldn't like him. And Mark O'Mealy, what can you say about the Ogo? Just a hard player, really. ran hard, did everything at 100% at full pace. Shoot, I didn't know there was going to be a player there. Yeah, but we pick up a victory. So that's my favourite Bulldogs 17. I think I said 11 at the start. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, my favourite Bulldogs 17. Sorry about that. Hopefully you got enough far enough into the video to hear this part. Whatever. So yeah, that's my favourite 17. Hopefully you enjoy the video, and leave your clubs, like whatever club you support, leave in the comments what your favourite 17 is. Pick out a favourite. You know, kind of cool to see like a Storm one or a Manly one, stuff like that. Yeah, so leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it and you want to see more, and I'll see you for the next episode, which I'm not sure what it's going to be, but it's episode 8 I think. So yeah, I'll see you then guys. Bye.